All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a section view. That's going to be your next screenshot and something that's required to put on your final technical drawing. Now, when we want to add to our technical drawing, let's take a look at what ours currently looks like. It is a complete mess because I've added all of these landscaping site plan things to our 3D view and to our floor plan. So if you skipped the optional steps of adding furniture and adding site plan, you don't need to do this next step. But if you did those optional steps, we need to turn off the visibility of these things to make our technical drawing look a little bit more useful. All right, so I'm going to go into 3D and I'm going to show you how to do that. I just select each object. In this case, this is the topo solid. I click on hide in view and I click I want to hide the whole category. So everything that's a topo solid, I'm going to hide everything that was entourage. I can do the repeat, hide category. I'm going to do everything that was a plant, repeat, hide category. I'm even going to hide my elevation lines. And I need to sneak around here and make sure I hide this park bench as well. So let's hide that. All right, so now our 3D view is looking a little bit better. If I ever want to get those things back, I can go into this temporary hide and isolate. Oh, let's show it there. Maybe I show it here. Don't know where it is. I'll find it in a minute. So that part is looking better. That looks great, but I need to fix my site plan. So I'm going to go down to my site plan. Actually, now I'm going to fix my floor plan. And instead of doing this regular floor plan, I'm going to take the visibility off this dependent floor plan. Because if you remember, I used that dependent floor plan to drag into this particular diagram. So let's open that up. And I'm going to do the same thing I just did. Right click, hide category, right click, hide category. Notice that when I hide things, it only hides it in that particular view. It's not like those things when I change the model itself, it changes it on every sheet. All right, so let's see. We should be looking better. All right, looks like I've got to do some more because our elevations here, our east and our south elevations, also have some things that are covering up. So I'm going to go down here to the East Architectural and I'm going to hide these categories. So let's get rid of that tree and let's get rid of, I'm going to leave the topo surface for right now. And I'm going to open up the South and I'm going to hide that topo surface in the South for sure. Let's take a look. That's not too bad. All right, so let's go here. And we're looking pretty darn good. Now, I also noticed that when I click on these, I can edit the view underneath, but for some reason, I can't edit this floor plan. So temporarily, I'm going to go down, and I can show you what these hotkeys are. If I click right here, that's the Sheets filter for the project browser. It makes it really easy for me to see my technical drawings. And I'm going to remove this floor plan from my technical drawing right now. I can always bring it back in. So I'm going to remove that from sheet. All right, so here we are. Now I'm ready to actually do the section view. It's actually easier than all that other stuff that I did. So let me go up to, we can do it in this, so let's actually do this in the main floor plan. So I'm going to go over here to views and I'm going to go to my floor plan. Here it is. And I want to look at a section of the wall, and my requirement is a section of the wall that shows the slope, the sloping roof, and also a section of the wall that has a siding. So I need to make sure I do a section through here or through this side. So this right here is the hotkey for a section view. So I'm going to click on that. I get my plus, and I can just click on one side, drag all the way through, and click again. Now what's happened, if I go over here to my project browser, you're going to notice that now I have a new section here. Let me make sure, let me see which one it is. There we go. So I have a building section right here. And you see that it's a section view of exactly like I took a chainsaw and sliced right through my floor plan. That's what I got. However, the problem I have with it is I just want to see the wall. I don't want to see this window. And by the way, these arrows show the direction that we're looking through the section view. So if I go over here to section, I can see some other stuff in here that I don't want to see. So I'm going to get this section box and I'm going to make it smaller so I don't see that door that's there and I don't see that window. I only see this part of the wall. All right, let me take a look. Yeah, that looks much better. Awesome. All right, so I have my first section view. I'm going to save my project right now. But I can't see exactly what this wall is made of. It just looks like it's a generic caricature. So I'm going to go down here. And this is a new tool. It's called Detail Level, right next to Visibility Style. I'm going to go to the detail level and I'm going to change it to fine. I want to see what's going on inside those walls. So now you suddenly see we've got layers. But these thick lines here are making things difficult for me to see. So I'm going to use this hotkey button here, and I'm going to click on thin lines, and that looks a lot better. All right, so what do I have going on here? Underneath here, you can see my topo solid. I've got that earth and sand and grass. If I turn on maybe some textures, yep, you can see it for real, for real. That looks nice. I'm going to go back to wire hidden frame, and maybe I'll do consistent colors there. That would be nice. All right, so I can see that I've got my floor with my wooden joists and the wooden flooring, and I've got my metal stud in here. However, way back when I started this, I didn't really look at the specifications. I now know that I'm building this shed with 2x4s, so 2x4 studs, and I'm also got a concrete floor. So I'm going to have to change these. So we know how to change types. We're just going to click on that wall. That's our basic wall with siding that we built. And I'm going to keep it on basic wall. I'm going to edit the type. Let's do a preview. I can see here that I've got my siding here and I've got this metal stud. So I'm going to change this structure. I'm going to edit this structure. And what I'm going to change is this metal stud layer. I don't want it to be metal stud. I'm going to go into the material browser. So I hit the three dots right there. It's going to open up the material browser and I'm going to look for wood. I'm going to look for some softwood. So here's softwood lumber. That's what I want. That's what my plywood is going to be. My 2x4 studs are going to be made of. Speaking of 2x4s, I don't need 6 inches. I need the 2x4, which, as we know, the actual size is 3 1/2. It's not 4 inches, it's 3 1/2. So I'm going to fix that. The other thing I notice in my specifications is that this plywood sheathing layer is not 3/4 of an inch. It's actually 1/2 inch. So I'm going to change this to 1/2 inch. All right, I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to say, it says constraints are not satisfied. Probably my floor needs to be changed. So I'm going to say remove constraints. I'll fix it later and say OK. So now I have a thinner 2x4 in there. That looks much better. The next thing I'm going to change is this flooring right here. I'm going to click on the floor and I don't want a wooden floor joist. My specification says I need a 4-inch thick concrete. I think that's what we price. So 4 inches of concrete. So I'm going to choose this generic, let's see if, I got concrete 4-inch. That's what I'm going to choose. That looks great. Except for we have a slight problem here. Our topo solid is way beneath that. If I click on the topo solid, remember, I had to lower the topo solid beneath level 0. This is level 0. Now I need to have it go right underneath that floor. So instead of -10 3/4 inches, I'm going to have it be -4 inches. There, that looks a lot better. All right, last thing I need to do is figure out what that constraint issue was. So I'm going to go to the floor plan. All right, I'm going to take a look here, look at consistent colors. It's all gray because it's mostly concrete. Maybe I'm going to take a look at the actual floor itself. So I'm going to go into my 3D view. If I lost my 3D view, I can get it right back. I go into my 3D view. I'm going to choose that concrete floor. There it is. And I'm going to edit the boundary and I'm going to see if that was my problem. So go back into my floor plan view. Floor plan view. My floor looks pretty good. It's going all the way around. Okay, so I think that's fine. Let me go back into my section view. I can drop down here and see my section view. And this is your next screenshot right here.